Hello, it's been a while since I've done an app listing teardown, so I figured it was time, especially because we're in Q4 now. And someone had reached out to me recently for help with their app, and I don't really work with new apps unless I redo the app listing. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, my fees for doing this aren't always friendly for new apps to invest in. And so this person who owns this Visualize AI product review app asked me for some free advice. Now, don't get any crazy ideas. I'm not really that open to give free advice, only because I write a weekly newsletter that's nothing but free advice mostly, aside from the however many people that subscribe. Thank you for paying for that. But I'm basically doing it for free most of the time. And but I figured that we would use this as a learning opportunity and I would create some content. And so here we are, and let's get into it. So I don't know why this is flickering. Hopefully when I'm done with it, it won't be flickering, but either or. Okay, so let's get into the listing. Let's get into, I think part of what the developer wanted from me was to validate his idea, and then also kind of talk through the listing. So I can't validate people's ideas. That's not what I'm hired to do. However, because this is the type of app that I have been excited about in years past, I will kind of talk about how I think that there is some promising elements to this, especially for home and furnishings and things that belong in your space. So if you want to be able to see something, bring it to life, then a product like this is really useful. And because the category of home and furnishings is really big in Shopify, I do think that there is a wealth of opportunity here for an app like this to do very well. So let's go through the elements that I think are good and then maybe some areas of opportunity for improvement. Now, let's go through the image gallery first. I really like this image a lot. I would say if you guys have been around for a hot minute, you would know that I don't love arrows. However, I do think that this showcases that this chair that costs this money belongs in this room. I would consider your ICP. Most of the time in home and furnishings, you're looking at majority are going to be in the US. So I would say you probably want to show your pricing in US dollars just to speak more to them. But there's nothing terribly wrong with this either. I would say from a layout standpoint or a template standpoint, this is great. So we've got the logo on here. This looks pretty high end in terms of the way that it's being showcased. Obviously I like the bullets, the easy to read text, the H1 that's larger in case than the bullet points. And then you've got the element that you want them to see, which is live in a different color. So sometimes you can do it in a different color. Sometimes you can underline it. There's different ways to go about doing that. So I think well done on this slide overall. Next slide, also done very well. The one, I guess, caveat to that is I don't love these elements. The ta-das, the like fake looking, and I understand why. I just feel like it kind of looks a little cheap. So if you don't have a designer, that's fine. But adding elements like this just kind of cheapens it. So probably choose something a little bit different here. If this is one of the customers that is using your app, I would just be a little bit cautious about making sure that you're showing that. But I think, and also I don't know what I'm looking at. So I think as well, kind of pulling out the piece like you did before on this visual would be probably good to spell out what it is that you're trying to get them to show. The setup is 4 minutes. I mean, can you guarantee that? Maybe you could say something like set up in minutes, because what if it is longer than 4 minutes? Then you've got a pissed off customer. See it in your room, powered by AI. I like that you have the eye going directly to that. So yeah, I think overall this is really good. Again, showing it in euros, may want to consider that depending on your ICP. Again, the fact that you've got the logo on each and every single page is really great. Here, I would say when the button is clicked, a modal will appear here. Users can look at how they wish to visualize your product. Okay, so just like more context clues, like what are you pulling out? Like maybe putting a bit of a color border around this, but these are just like picky things that I do. And the designer that I work with, but that I would like to have here. I like the before and afters. These are really cool. Yep, very cool. Cutting edge. Okay. Lamp. So you have this in dollars. Maybe even like saying it on here, like visualize this in your space. You're buying this from the product page and this is what it looks like in your room. You know, just like kind of spelling that out a little bit more would be fine. All right, so we've done that. I think you've really maximized also the amount of imagery you have here, which is really good. And then you've got your what it is. So again, the framework that I use with copy on these pages, the who, what, when, where, why, and how framework. So built-in AI-powered app that helps shoppers see the product perfect before buying. Great. Done. Visual AI transforms how customers shop by letting them virtually try on products in their own space. Great. Add a fully customized See in My Room button to your product pages, allowing shoppers to preview furniture. Okay. You may want to add like a little bit more keywords, not to like keyword stuff, but I think you could, using AI technology, you know, something along those lines. It works really, you know, it's easy to fit the thing in your space, whatever. This is what all the large brands are doing, you know, kind of things like that could be. But overall, I would say this is good. The other thing is it doesn't look like you've maximized out the character limit. You have 500 characters, including spaces and punctuation. So for me, I try to maximize that out as much as possible, going anywhere from like 450 characters all the way up into the 500. So if you could do that, that'd probably be a good idea here. So probably one extra sentence would get you closer to that. And then I see this a lot. So with the bullet points, and so I feel like with these things, you could probably put it in here. And then with this section, you want to talk about the features. So virtual try on and AI preview. And then you want to like spell that out a little bit more about what that feature is, includes, for who it's used for, when it's used, things like that. Unlimited product visualizations. Spell that out a little bit more too. So for larger home improvement or home and furnishing or larger stores that need unlimited, you know, have hundreds of SKUs that they want to be able to, you know, offer this or something like that. Like it's fully scalable, I think is what you're trying to get out there. And obviously when I look at your pricing, you're trying to reach more of a larger or enterprise level. So spell that out here. Fully customizable See in My Room button. Again, spell that a little. You want to max this out too. So I think with this one, and I could be wrong, it's either 100 character limit or 80 character limit. I don't think you're fully maximizing out those characters here. Boost buying confidence or reduce returns. Spell that out a little bit more. And then realistic room scene previews. I love that. Spell that out a little bit more. I also feel like that could be used closer to up here. Visual AI transform or gives realistic room scene previews by transforming how customers shop or something like that. I don't know. And then looking at your pricing, just making sure that it's clear that what they're getting from here to here to here is very different. So it looks like it's a product limit. And that's the thing that you're getting that's different. I would probably try to create a little bit more space between basic, standard, and enterprise in terms of the value. So you've got 24/7 support on all of these, but maybe for enterprise, they're getting white glove support, fully onboarded experience. We're doing all of this basically for you and with you. And then obviously you want to get reviews. Do you have your website here? You do. So let's take a look at that real quick. You didn't ask me for this. Okay, great. So you do have a website. It's probably in development. You want to make sure that you're building this out so that you have another place to bring the traffic on. Because if you're only relying on the App Store to bring traffic for more of a niche app, which is what you are offering, it's going to be a harder climb for you to get to 100 users and the benefits that come along with that. So I would also say at this stage you may want to consider offering your app for free for a short period of time, just to get that traffic in, to get the feedback loop through, to get some early stage reviews, to be able to talk to customers about what they like about your app, what it needs, what their business needs are, and how you can grow your app to fit your ideal customer, or even like maybe learning that these people aren't your ideal customer. And so there's a lot of learning that can come from that. But other than that, I would say well done on the listing. So far so good. You're on the right track, and I really like your app.